Doing good. How are you guys?
We are good. How are you?
We are good.
I'm amazing.
We are good.
Just got back in town. I did my Detroit and New York run. Then I was in town for I was back at my house for less than 24 hours. And then went out of town and had meetings with sponsors and things like that for my upcoming projects. So that was really exciting. It's always a lot of moving and a lot of traveling and things like that because I'm completely self-funded.
Yeah.
And when you're working with blue checks and major platinum artists, you've got to, sorry, my light went out. You've got to make sure your budget is right, my damn ring light. Anyways, you got to make sure the budget is right. Cause I think, especially lately, I don't know if you guys follow a lot of different, I'm sure you do, obviously follow people in the culture and things like that. But there's been a big debate of why do artists that are independent think they're not going to have to pay for marketing? Major labels and major artists pay hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars for marketing. So why doesn't an independent artist think that they have to pay for marketing? We have to pay even more percentage-wise for marketing because we don't have that built-in fan base. So it's fucking hilarious to me. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but I just got off the phone with one of my girlfriends about this.
No, you do. You go ahead. Everyone needs to know. Everyone needs to know the nitty-gritty behind.
I've had so many people talk shit to me oh yeah, you had to pay for this, you had to pay for that. I'm like, are you mad that I paid for it, or are you mad that you didn't bust your ass enough to save up enough to afford to pay for it?
Right.
And this is the thing too, major celebrities, especially people like Royce the 5'9", okay? Doesn't matter, you can have all the fucking money in the world. If that man do not like your fucking music, he's not getting on your fucking track, boo-boo, period. Period.
No.
The money.
We'll talk about him soon, yeah.
The bag is a sign of respect, okay? Once you get to a certain level, paying somebody is a sign of respect.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. I respect your time. I respect your value in the culture. I respect your value in the industry. I'm going to pay you to be on this track. Period.
Yeah.
It's so insane to me. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, I know you guys have heard this when people are no following, nothing, and they're no following, nothing, oh, you gotta pay me to be on this. You gotta pay me. My time is valuable. Says fucking who? Because your resume doesn't say that.
Yeah.
Your resume doesn't say your time is valuable. Every other industry, there's fucking interns. Every other fucking scope and facet of every business, there's interns. I don't know why these rappers think that it's not the same thing. Even at record labels, there's interns getting paid $0 fucking to be someone's bitch. So what makes you think that you're just gonna show up and be like, oh, I made the dopest song ever. Now you gotta pay me $1,000 per show. I'm like, bro, you are out of your fucking mind. Anyways, I needed to get that out today because that shit is driving me fucking nuts.
And you know what? That's what we're here for, is complete rawness. This is who we are. And this is the place to do it, because on our show, we talk about the cultures. This is what we do. And everyone needs to know how everyone works in the industry, what's behind the scenes, because you look at, you're scrolling through Instagram, you're scrolling through YouTube, you're scrolling through Spotify even, and you're like, oh, well, look at all these artists. How do they get there? How do they get this? Is it just royalty? Did someone pay them to be there? No one knows the true stories. Everyone thinks they're superstars, major, titles, this, that, whatever. But it's okay, everyone that's earned their title today has started somewhere. No one can just go, okay, overnight switch, bam, I'm a superstar. However, those that have done that will never last, ever. And that's been proven time and time again. And to be able to come in and think they're entitled, just like you said, is another story. There's no way that other people, and that's the thing, Big Wall and I will tell you, if you think that you are entitled, you won't be on the show at all.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. It's okay, this is my manager made a fucking awesome point. He's like, McDonald's has to pay for their marketing. What the fuck makes you think you don't?
Yeah, 100%.
One of the biggest companies in the world pays millions of dollars for marketing. Why do you think you shouldn't?
Yeah.
100%. Why should I invest in you?
And not just that, they pay top. They pay top marketing. as well.
Period. Look at the Cardi B Offset meal. Do we even want to know how much they paid them for that?
Well,
Do
let's
we
just
even
say
want to
any
know?
superstar 30-second time slot, you're looking at least 50,000 plus.
Oh my God, girl, I guarantee you. Oh, whoa, I guarantee you it's more than that. Cardi B and Offset. Oh my God, that's weird.
And Big Wall's like, okay, he wants to chime in, so let's chime in.
Because like what you're saying, you really like preaching to the choir, because these are conversations that I have with a lot of artists, a lot of independent artists myself. The McDonald's statement, I was literally going to say that, you know what I'm saying, but I was letting you ladies, talk, because that's a fact. McDonald's pay millions of dollars a year in order to push a song. Like, theoretically, to get your song to cut through all the music, when we talk about music in general, you have to put at least $250,000 into a song for marketing. That's at the minimum. That's at the minimum.
Super Bowl time slots.
Just period. Just to cut through all the music, to have your music competing with the Drakes and the Kendrick Lamar, because when you're making music, those are the people you aiming for. You're not aiming for the smaller guys. You aiming for the top. So in order to compete with those type of people, you have to put at least $250,000 plus. You have to pay to play. Anybody who feels like you are in this game and you're not going to have to pay to play, you in the wrong
game.
This is not the game for that. The whole game is smoke and mirrors. You have to pay for everything. Period. There's people out here paying for views, paying for likes, paying for all of that stuff just to look a certain way. You have to make it look a certain way. And that's honestly a part of the game. When you go on Instagram, go look at your top artists, Jay-Z, Beyonce, name them. When you go on their friends list, it's a lot of zeros. It's a lot of goose eggs, because a lot of them accounts are not real people. A lot of them accounts of these people that are being followed are not real people. This is the game. This is the game you in. You have to look like money. So for anybody out there, if you don't have a budget, that's why before I talk to any artist, what's your budget? What's your budget? Because you need a budget. You're not just finna make a dope song and think you're finna be on Hot 97. It don't work like that. that is not the game that we're in. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand it 100%. You know what I mean? And more artists need to know that. And that's a fact.
Yeah, and there's definitely levels to it too. Like, obviously, as you level up, you won't have to pay as much. You'll get better connections. Like it's amazing the amount of artists that have hit me up, especially since I debuted this Benny the Butcher and the Royce da 5'9" track on Shade 45. That's fucking huge. That's a spot most people will never get, no matter, because they not only even if you have the budget, they don't even have the connection to pay somebody to do that. They don't even know who to talk to.
100%.
That's 100%. What I'm saying. So it's all about connections, obviously, and budget, and it takes time to get there, so it's just interesting to me how hip hop is is to me the only genre I've noticed where we don't respect the people on the level above us. I do, but I'm saying it's built in as the culture to be I'm going to be better than that person. I'm going to top that person. They're always the new Tupac, the new this. I'm there is no new Tupac. It's never fucking happening. I'm sorry. Period. Yeah. We don't, it's weird as a culture. And I think that's partially because it is the street mentality. A lot of us that are
hip-hop is built on that. Hip-hop is built on the battle, on the culture of being competitive. You know what I mean? So I get that aspect. You know what I mean? That's just a part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about battle rapping, when you talk about DJing, it started from the streets and being, I'm better than you. My DJ better than yours. You know what I'm saying? That's just the essence of hip hop. But when we just talk about supporting, if you talk about supporting one another and being able to just, be on, if it's somebody that you feeling, messing with them on a track, helping, supporting them, liking, sharing, that don't cost you anything. You know what I'm saying? You don't lose nothing by sharing, you know what I'm saying, or liking or supporting an artist that you like. You know what I mean? But I love the fact that you know that you're a realist when we talk about just the game. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to know the rules of the game that you choosing to play in. You know what I'm saying? Or this game is going to eat you alive. You know what I'm saying? It really is, man.
It's funny.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's funny because there's obviously not going to name names because A, like, I feel bad for them, and B, I don't want to add to their clout. But people think like, oh, I'm going to get some dope jewelry and then all of a sudden be in the game. Like, oh, I'm going to have the clothes and the jewelry, and that's not what it's about. It's really not. Like, and people are like, oh, you don't even have to be dope anymore to make it. I'm like, no, the fact is that the definition of dope has changed. Okay, so when I started rapping, this was a long time ago. Like, there was no female rappers that were popping. That's a fact. This was before Nicki Minaj blew up. Like we had to really freestyle. Like, you had to free association freestyle. Like, I say a word, you put that in your next sentence. I say another word, you put that in your next sentence. Like, we used to battle rap and freestyle, and now people are like, you don't have to freestyle. You don't even have to write your own stuff. And I'm like, that's wild to me.
Yeah.
Wild how you could ever be even in the running for best rapper alive or even on a fucking list if you don't write all your own music. Like, you can be an entertainer, but you can't be a fucking MC. There's a difference.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Talk your shit.
You can be an entertainer all you want. You can be the greatest entertainer, but don't you fucking dare say you're the best MC or you're the best rapper alive and you fucking have somebody else on your song credits. You better shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Talk your shit.
Or not even just have someone else on your song credits.
Yeah.
You're like you're not even on your song credits.
Facts.
Not somebody made part of your song. Like, they made your entire song while you're rapping about I'm the realist and I'm this and I've been through this. No, bitch, you just want to be like looking tough and you think it's cute to be in the streets. But like, I'm telling you from somebody that really used to push weight, and you're in Chicago, so you'll know I was all through Harvey. I was off Cicero and Jackson. I was in all the spots that motherfucker. My ex-wife is from Gary, Indiana, Hammond. Like, these are all spots motherfuckers are like, fuck that. Like, I was there. I was doing it. You know what I'm saying? In Detroit. Like, I was really in the streets. And somebody that's really been in the streets, we use this as a way out. A lot of people that are super privileged are like, oh, it'll be dope to be a rapper. It will be this. It's cool. Like, yeah, it's cool till you get fucking shot because you don't know how to handle being shot at. Because people like me, it's fuck. And I'm sure you experienced that.
Yeah.
You know how to react to it. You know how to handle it. You know the rules of the streets. The rules of the streets are almost the same as the rules of the game. Like, the real rules of the game, not the ones that are fabricated, you know?
No.
And it's weird. It's weird these days. It's different than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into. Wait. Okay, Big Well, go ahead. I know he's going to say something.
No. I want to. You was going to go down the road. I think I was going to go down.
Well, you just said you know where you came from, so I want to know. Let everyone know where you came from because this is what we're about. A lot of people are just going to go to your Instagram and go, okay, here's Jaira here. She's here. She's there. This is her music, but we want to know who the real Jaira is.
So I was born and raised in Canada, super, super poor, very poor, and grew up with literally nothing. And I knew that I didn't want to live that way. So I hustled as hard as I could. Like, I grew up with my parents, like, super poor, and I saw them suffer, and I suffered, and I didn't want to be like that. So when I immigrated to the United States, I immediately was like, I gotta bust my ass and get something better. So I was a hustler since I was, young. I immigrated to the United States, graduated early, and I was in the Midwest at that time, mostly in Chicago, moving around from Chicago, Detroit, Indiana, Iowa, like all through there. And I knew that I was going to have to work harder than the next person to make it because I was coming from nothing. So I struggled a lot. I was homeless multiple times. I had a really abusive manager that was, it was difficult for me to process. And when I finally got out of that, I started moving around on my own and went I've been in Atlanta, lived in Atlanta, Vegas, and then finally settled in Dallas, but I still move all over doing my music. So when I went to Dallas, I finally got sober and really like pushed and made the elevation that I needed to make, because I was in debt like $250,000 to the IRS from all the money that my ex took from me, and dealing with alcoholism and brain damage and a lot of abuse and things. It was hard, but once I started healing from that and really getting my resume under my belt, like things changed for me. And that's why I always try and pay it forward to the next person, because especially women that are in the industry, I try and give them a hand up, because I know how hard it is to come from nothing. So that's that's a really brief synopsis. It's so hard to make it that brief, but that's like a brief overview of the things that I went through. It was a lot of abuse, a lot of physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse. And I don't even get into the details of it because it's so horrific that most people wouldn't even believe it, because it literally sounds like a fucking movie. It's that fucking bad. Like every time I thought I'd get a hand up, like some insane shit would happen, like I was really kept in a dog cage. Like, who can come out of that? Oh, and that's not even the worst, not even close to the worst of what I've been through. So like, that's why I have these multiple personalities, and not like other people talk about, like, oh, I have, oh, haha, my other personality. Like, no, I'm like really diagnosed with multiple personalities, because I had to become a different person to process, like, in order to make it through what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if people understand what it's like to be kept in a dog cage and fed like a dog, because it strips away all of your humanity. It makes you really feel like you're not even a person. Forced to do things that no human should ever have to do. Yeah. And that makes you question your own validity to live, if that makes sense.
100%. Yeah, it does. Because you second guess pretty much everything along your journey.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
everybody,
yeah.
You don't trust anyone. You don't trust yourself. You don't know reality. You don't know what time of day it is. Literally, you have brain fog that's consistently over top of you all the time. And then you just, people come in and say, oh, this is what really happened. And you don't believe anything at all. You just don't even want to go there.
And
when they come, keep going.
Your abusers are very skilled, right? Abusers like that, especially traffickers, are very skilled. They're very skilled at pretending that they're great people to other people and only selecting certain vulnerable people to abuse, right? So when and if you do come out about your abuse, there's a bunch of people behind them, like, they would never do that. What? They would never like that. They're great to me. Well, of course they are. They can't abuse everybody. They have to have a cover story. It's like having an alibi, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
it's what they call gaslighting, for those of you who don't know. They make up a complete different story, thinking that you're the one making you look like you're the one that's the crazy one, when in fact it's
that.
Yeah.
Especially
shouts out to the Culture Gang. They definitely supporting you. They say they love your story. Because you have one of them stories, man. It's real, and it's something that it can make some people, but then it can break some people. You know what I'm saying? Like 50 said, it's clear that I'm here for a real reason, because he got hit like I got hit, but he ain't fucking breathing. You see what I'm saying? So people go through stuff that other people go through, and they don't make it. And I want to kind of stay right there. Besides the other personalities that sound like you have to create for survival. You know what I mean? When you got out of that, how were you able to process to get to the place where you are today?
Honestly, like by the grace of God. Like, I'm not a Christian person, but I definitely know that there's something bigger out there, and I know my ancestors look out for me, because all the things I went through, like, I had a core group of girlfriends, and every single one of them is either dead in a mental asylum or in prison.
Wow.
And that could have easily been me, and it should have been me, but something guided me out of it. You know, when I came to Dallas, and my manager now, he took me in. I literally called him when I was in Atlanta one day. So this all ties into the story. But before I moved to Dallas, I was in Atlanta and had my own radio show. It was called On the Hustle. In Atlanta, College Park. I know you guys know College Park, Atlanta. Here to know the songs. Yeah. But I was the only white girl with a fucking radio show in College Park. And, you know, everybody looked from the outside out in like, you know, you're killing it, all this stuff. But little did they know, I had just got robbed. My ex took my house, my car, everything. My money got stolen. My fucking laptop got stolen after that. And then my best friend set me up, and all the rest of my belongings got taken. So I was like, this is just too much. I can't handle it anymore. And I called the manager that I have now, and I told him, like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, all this shit that's going on, and I'm going to kill myself tonight after my radio show. And he's like, hold the fuck up. What are you talking about? And I told him, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, and he's like, you're not going to kill yourself. And he's like, I need you to sober up enough to drive. He's like, are you sober enough to drive? I'm like, absolutely not. Because I was on like a gallon of vodka a day. I'm not kidding you. Just to try and cope with the shit that was going on. Yeah. Like, I slept in a Waffle House fucking parking lot. It was fucking ridiculous. Anyways, so I ended up driving to Dallas, and me and him he's like, I'm going to help you. We're going to make a pact, and you write down your goals, and we're going to make them.
Yeah.
You know, when I moved here, we slept on a broken mattress, like on the floor. We had nothing, no money, no anything. And through super fucking hard work and a lot of patience on both of our parts, and like I said, the grace of some higher power, I finally made it. And was able to get sober. And that was the biggest turning point for me, was sobriety. Because I was self-medicating. And I didn't even realize it. I was self-medicating since 5th grade. I started drinking. Wow. And my parents will tell you, no way, but whatever the fuck, it's true. You know what I'm saying? I started drinking in 5th grade. I dealt with a lot of abuse as a child. Basically, my whole life is like me trying to speak out about my story and people silencing me. Yeah. And that's why, no, I don't allow anybody to silence me anymore. Because there's so many women out there like me that have been through, I'm not going to say the same things, and I hate to say
similar things
or whatever, but like everybody's definition of easy or hard is different, right? Because some people can break their toe and they are like, oh my God, I can't walk. And then some people will still walk on a shattered foot, because that's the way we evolved and were built, and didn't have a choice to be, right? But I speak out for all of the women that feel like they can't, are scared to, are being called liars, are being told that whatever didn't happen, or whatever the case. Like, for everybody that went through trauma and feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, because there is. But sobriety is like the number one thing. Like, if you're fucked up, if you're struggling with stuff like that, first of all, PTSD. Okay, so I have PTSD, and I knew that back then, but I didn't know I had DID. So DID is really rare. It's called, it's a dissociative identity disorder. So less than 200,000 people have been diagnosed with it, because it's so incredibly rare. It's kind of like the movie Split, but the movie Split literally like makes it look different than it is, right? Like over glorified by the media, blah, blah, blah. And it's horrible the way they portray it, right? But we're not all psycho killers. Like, generally it's people that have been through such severe, it's consistent, and how do they explain it? It's like consistent trauma, like over and over and over and over again, different sets of trauma. That's what causes DID. So like, you know, I just went through such prolonged periods of different types of trauma that my brain completely fractured. And most people never recover from it. Like, most people will never even know that they have it.
Crazy.
but PTSD is part of that. Everybody with DID has PTSD. Not everybody with PTSD has DID, but I speak out about that kind of stuff because people with PTSD need to know that it's not a death sentence. Like, you know, so many people feel like they can't recover from that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
PTSD is pretty much when you went through any kind of trauma. You know what I mean? Just growing up in certain environments. You know, I have PTSD myself. You know what I mean? I found out as I got older and got into mental health and went to go talk to therapists and so on and so forth. And you get to describing and telling them things that you've been through in your past. And, you know, I was letting know that I had PTSD. You know what I mean? But, you know, when you're growing up, especially in the hood, going through certain stuff, man, you just keep moving. You go through certain traumas and it's just everyday life. And you don't realize that you really traumatized by it. And when you, with the DID, after you go through so much trauma, you have to separate it mentally or you will break. That it sounds like your mind is just literally trying to survive going through so much trauma that we had to figure out something in order for us to get through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not just that, it also stems from any childhood traumas as well.
Absolutely.
So anything in your childhood trauma gets dragged along through your entire life as well. So I actually just had on a trauma coach 2 weeks ago. I connected with Carrie's show and we were talking a little bit about this. And so actually, I think I want to send you her information, maybe even both of you. She's an incredible person. She helps you. It's called Gentle Release Trauma Coach. And she is absolutely 100% amazing. And I'm actually going to be starting with her as well. Not this week, but the week after as well. So amazing, but it's true. We need to find out what the triggers are and how to kind of close the door on the past and be able to, you know, figure out, okay, well, if this is happening, how can I get over this part and then find who I really am again? Because we're in there, but it's just like, okay, you know, figuring out what's the next steps, what's making that trigger keep happening over and over again, because that's what it is. It's basically a trigger word. It's a trigger smell. It's a trigger something. Could be music. It could be a conversation. It could be words. It could be anything. It could be a place, a person, a thing, right? So that's the association involved with it, which is, it's horrible and it's scary. But the thing is a lot of us, we overlook it and we just think, okay, you know, we can move on and it'll be fine. This, that we heal ourselves quite a bit. But then it's also good to kind of get help where we can and be able to go, okay, maybe there's something we've overlooked that we can't do ourselves. Huge support, as long as we have friends, family as well, is major. So everyone, like anyone who's going through something as well, make sure, like, check on your friends. I've said this a million times through my shows. Check on your friends, because like Big Wall and I, we talk about mental health a lot on our shows, and we're like, just check in. And even like Big Wall and I, you know, every so often we know one of us is just had enough. We've stressed this, that. How are you doing? Okay, this, that. Just as simple like that. And if they're really not doing good, seriously see if you can get them some help, or, you know, give them some outlet, just something to be able to reach out, because that's the most important thing. And for someone that's like, Jari, you're an amazing person, and to be able to come on and be able to speak about it, but, you know, just giving an insight to other people, saying like, I'm this amazing person, it happens to me, it can happen to anyone, right? Like, you know, just being able to sit here and state it is, it's raw and it's uncut, and it's something that people need to hear. Otherwise, like I said, people go on to Instagram, they'll go on to any of the platforms, go, oh, she's a superstar, but really, you know, the in deep stuff that's in your heart, that's what we need to talk about. Absolutely.
And knowing shouts out to you for being vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? And not only with your personal life, with your music, that you're willing to put it in your music and express yourself. You know what I mean? Now, I want to kind of dig into that, like, because it's one thing to go through something, and then it's another thing to talk about it publicly, and then it's a whole nother thing to put it in your music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy just to make life seem all good when we talk about music. Just saying stuff that rhyme, saying stuff you think people want to hear. It's easy to do that. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're an artist, but it's hard to speak your truth musically. So why was it so important to you to utilize your music as a platform to get through your own personal, traumas, as well as many family members that you lost? You know what I mean? Well, you've been through so much, and you use your music to kind of tell your story. So why was it so important for you to use your music as a vehicle to drive that message home?
It's funny because like I guess I never realized that I was doing it. Like I knew, but I never realized that I was doing it. Because it's literally built into me. Like when I was born, I was so poor, and my first memory is me singing on stage at my aunt's wedding. That's my first memory, is me on stage with a microphone. One of my second memories is me recording into a Talk Girl with my little sister, who unfortunately passed away. She was my best friend, but more on that later. We would literally escape from our reality by making these songs, and that's how we literally got through life. It's through music and through creating, and it was just always a method of escape for me. And as I got older, I actively searched for music from females that I could relate to, that would get me through tough times, like the way that Eminem's music did for me. And I didn't find it anywhere. There weren't women talking about the things that I was going through that I could find. And I'm like, I'm going to change that. Like I always had it in my mind that I might not be the most successful female artist ever, but I want to open the door for other female artists to walk through. And I certainly always wanted to be somebody that people could turn on when they were going through something and be like, holy fuck, she gets it. I'm not alone. Because, you were talking about a support system and how important support systems are. And I never had that. There was many periods, like when I was walking the streets homeless with nothing, I had no one to call. No one. Nobody was there for me. Not one fucking person. And my parents can say whatever they want, and the rest of my family can say whatever they want, but they were not fucking there when I was homeless and I was eating out of a fucking garbage can. I can remember calling my mother when I was being sex trafficked, and she literally told me that I put myself in that situation. I need to figure out a way out of it. And that's
wait. Hold on. Because see, we just not gonna fast forward past key moments. You know what I mean? Because people need to understand this, because you're strong enough to speak it, and we want to make sure that everybody understands. So, okay. How old were you when you were being sex trafficked?
So I'm not going to go into my childhood situations because I haven't spoken publicly about that yet. But when I was first sex trafficked when I was 16 years old, as that I consider my adult life of youth.
Yeah.
Okay. So like my childhood stuff, I'm not going into that until like my True Hollywood story, and I've just decided that.
That's okay.
Absolutely. But see, the point is not to go into details. I just want to. I don't want to know the details. You know what I mean? The fact is,
I don't have a problem with anything like older than that. Fine. But 16. I got into the sex industry at 16 years old.
Wow. Okay.
16 is when I met my first pimp. I was dancing at a fully nude, fully liquor club at 16 fucking years old. So from a very young age, I was exposed to these things. And, I would always like move in and back out of my parents' house, like trying to like seek their approval and like try and gain my connections with them. But I don't believe that they ever really loved me. And maybe it was because of their own trauma or something kind of possible, fucked up from when I was a child or whatever. But like, I always like wanted to forgive my parents and move on and have a relationship with them. And
yeah, of course, those are your parents.
Yeah.
And I never got that. I never got an "I'm proud of you." I never got an "I love you" like that. Like when it was said in front of other people to like make it seem like we had this perfect relationship,
like
but
a show, putting on a show.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I never felt supported.
Yeah.
And that made me very, very vulnerable to being pimped on, because when I met my pimp, for once I had guidance, I had support, I had quote unquote love, somebody that was interested in what I was doing, somebody that said they would protect me, somebody that cared, and by no means am I like talking shit about my parents. I'm just speaking the truth about what happened in my life, because other people have been through it too. And it's not fair for people to have to quote unquote stay silent. Nobody can say how their actions impacted another person. It's only for that person to speak their truth. And that's what upsets me, is a lot of people are like, when people speak out, I've heard like, okay, for example, like Eminem, okay, we'll use him for an example, very like high profile example. But when he started talking about the things that happened, his mom was like, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. And he's like, but that's what it was like for me. Your actions caused this feeling in me.
Yeah.
This is what your actions did to me. Stop telling me what your actions did to you and start listening what your actions did to me. And the effect that they had on me. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? And there's a lot of times women especially are silenced.
Yeah.
Women are silenced because of multiple different reasons. We're supposed to shut up, and especially in hip hop, we're supposed to shut up, know our place, and people can say all they want, about like, oh, but like, look at the main stars are like all women. I'm like, yeah. And they're also owned by like really powerful men that get paid off of everything they do, babe. They're not independent. They don't keep their money. Megan Thee Stallion made $18,000 her first year. Look it up. That's facts.
Yeah.
Guess what? The guy that owned her made millions. You can't argue numbers, boo. So that's just fucking reality. And a lot of people are not going to be happy that I said it. And I don't really care. Because guess what? Like, thank God I listened to my mentor, who is was like my father. He passed away, unfortunately. But you know what he told me? Fill in your backspace. And you know what he meant by that? Make sure that you have a savings. Make sure you have a business. Make sure you have investments. Make sure you have things so that you're not completely dependent on your music and your money from your music. And that's the best thing he ever told me, because now I can speak my story. I don't have to worry about, is this person going to like it? Is that person going to like it? It doesn't matter if you like it or not, because I paid for my own shit and I wrote my own music. So guess what? I don't care.
Yeah.
And that might piss some people off, but guess what? And that will probably be the reason I don't make it as big as I should. But guess what? That's also the reason a lot of women are going to hear my testimony and they're not going to be fucking scared anymore. So will I sacrifice my own financial gain for the freedom of other women? Absolutely. All fucking day. Every day.
Yeah. 100%.
That part.
All of that part. Not just that part.
Box that shit up. Put a fucking bow on it. And I'm just so tired of people wanting to silence other people like that have been through abuse. Like, how fucking dare you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see it all the time.
And then that's it. And then they say, oh, you'll get over it.
But there's a lot of female artists you see. Where did they go? What happened? Oh, because they spoke out against their abuser.
You're right.
Then all of a sudden they look crazy to the social media, crazy to the media, crazy to the press. And it's not just women, it happens to men too. So let me stop, because it does happen to men too.
Yeah, yeah.
As artists, basically hoes. Unfortunately.
Oh, wow. We got a question from the culture gang. They asked, are the people who hurt you, are they in jail?
Nope.
No.
Not one of them.
No.
But you know what's going to be worse for them?
The person who kept you in a cage in jail now.
No.
No.
Wow.
But you know what's going to be worse for them and more terrifying for them is to see me in all of my true power.
Oh, the
and
best
to see that
revenge
I'm
is
not
success.
scared.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's it.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the
it's like
vengeance
my
of it.
bounce back song. So listen to the beginning lyrics of my bounce back song. They counted me out, hoping I'd choke and I'd drown. But when I come through they speakers, I wonder, how does it sound? Life started as a tragedy, used to spit on me, laugh at me, went through hell and survived. Why these haters stay mad at me like I'm back from the dead. Spotlight tatted on my head. Came confronted the beef, they acted churches instead. Better run me my bread, cause this game still owe me. Beg back 6 feet, ho, you don't owe me. Ain't no dude own me. I get all my percents and my credit score good, cause I paid all my debts. Disappeared for a sec just to come back beastie. Try to take my plate, but your girl's still feasting.
Talk your shit.
But that
Talk
is
your
literally
shit.
my verse, and it's literally addressing everybody.
Yes.
In a way that, okay, you killed me. Yeah, I was gone for a sec, but guess what? I'm not scared of you anymore.
No.
If you kill me tomorrow, guess what? You didn't kill my story because it's already out.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't stop it once it's already out. Like, it's amazing the amount of women I have in my inbox. Like, you inspired me to leave my pimp. Oh, wow. I've got pimps mad at me all through Dallas because I fucking talked their girls out of fucking being there. I don't care. Be fucking mad. And I stay strapped, bitch. So what's up? I'm not scared of people. I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of anybody. You know why? Because God got me. My ancestors got me. I got a whole army of people behind me that's in a whole parallel universe that you don't want, that don't play about me, boo.
Not the parallel universe. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying?
If you know, you know.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Hey, let me ask you a question. If you could go back and give younger you some advice, what would you tell yourself?
That's good. That's a good one.
Okay, so that's like, I guess, a double-edged thing, right? Because if I would have known the things I know now, I wouldn't have went through these things, and I wouldn't be able to testify for other women. Do you see what I'm saying? It would have stopped me from suffering through those things, where I would not have been able to be an advocate for the women that needed it. So I wouldn't go back and tell her anything. I wouldn't go back and tell her anything. I believe that my path was supposed to be here, and I don't want to change it. And was it? And don't get me wrong. If you would have asked me during that time where I was eating out of a garbage can, I might have told you a different fucking answer. But now that I'm out on the other side of it, oh yeah, when I was in hell, oh yeah, do this, this, and this, and you'll get out of it. Absolutely. Oh, I would have for sure.
I would have told myself. I would have told myself to journal it and to take every little piece of it that I could with me along my journey, to learn every single step along the way, and to keep using that each step, to keep remembering it, and to keep remembering what you're doing and who you're doing it for.
I wish in a way that I would have, but at the same time, I could not process. I couldn't have, because it was too much, way too much. Like being sex trafficked by like scary ass Chicago and fucking Milwaukee pimps. Like, you don't even want to know what that's like.
No.
You know, like, I would not be able to write it down. I had to literally forget about what happened the last 10 seconds. That's why I have DID. I know it is. So you know what I wish? I wish that somebody could have followed me around and written everything down. I know I couldn't have, because I couldn't even process it, right? But
your older you could go back and watch the younger you. There you go. Yeah.
I do wish that, but I think that's part of what DID is about, is like, I am not ready to process some of the things that happened to me. A lot of the things I have seen now, like, okay, so DID is like, it's literally like having 8 different lives, because there's 8 different personalities of mine, right? So that are active, but they all take over at a different time.
Okay.
And they don't have the memory of the other one. Like, literally. I could have this conversation with you and then switch personalities that I have no idea that I was having this conversation with you.
and not
Please
even know what
don't.
you was just talking
And
about.
it's hard to explain,
Yeah.
but it's
No, I got it.
really what
No,
I
it's
meant to
really
say
not.
now.
I get it.
It's actually
Yeah.
not. We understand it in a way. Like I get it. Yeah.
But now that I know that I have it and I'm not fucking insane, right? Like I have been able to start accessing memories and like joining my personalities, which is apparently, I didn't know this, but it's very rare to be able to do that. Like it's very rare for somebody with DID to heal to the point where they can actually start accessing the information from other parts of their brain. But that came from, like you said, starting to heal my PTSD, starting to heal my anxiety. And then the other sides of me started getting more comfortable coming out in normal situations, if that makes sense, instead of being trigger response.
Yeah, it's healing. You're doing a great job.
Like this is my main altar, right? Which is what they call a personality. This is my main altar. This is the person that is present when everything is okay. And then let's say that somebody were to bust in my house with a gun. Somebody else would take over the side of me that was living in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? And that person would take over and I would go ape shit and I wouldn't even remember it. Like I used to black out all the time, and I black out like a month, 2 month, 3 month periods and not even know how the fuck I ended up where I was. And that's a real thing. But now looking back on it, like I'm thankful that that was able to happen, because good God, I wouldn't have made it through if it weren't for that. No way. Nope. And now that I do have a support system, because I didn't have a support system before. Now that I do, you know, I have my best friend who is like my brother. And I have my, you know, my manager who is like my life partner, you know, or husband or whatever you want to call it. It's just different for us because we have a different structure to our lives, right? We're not like a traditional marriage. Yeah, I don't like traditional marriage anyway. So anyways, long story. But but
we got you. We got
like,
you.
the support system I have is, and like being able to, you know what really changed it for me? Like you asked, like what changed it for me? Like being able to mentor other women and seeing them get better and having them be like, wow, this is crazy. You're helping me so much. And I'm getting chills all over my body, but them like texting me or calling me or messaging me, like, what do I do in this situation? And I can help them, and they like elevate and like watch me elevate for motivation. Like I never looked at myself as a role model. I never looked at myself as like, oh, this gung-ho crusader leader, but that's like kind of just what my path is taking me on, right? Like I always just wanted to help. I always wanted to be the voice that I never had.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to me, and it's so humbling, and it's so fucking awesome to just be like, the fact that speaking my truth is helping so many other women. I'm not doing anything that everybody else shouldn't be able to do, right? We should all be able to speak our truth, but it's just like you said, you know, Big Wall was like, so many people aren't vulnerable. But now that once you, like for a horrible metaphor, it's like fucking crack. Like once you start being vulnerable and telling your truth, it's like addicting. You're not scared of it anymore. You feel like, okay, this is my story. This is my truth. Whether you say it happened or not, it still fucking happened.
It's your acceptance of it, and that knowing that, you know, you can either accept it and use it for good, or it's just like one of those, like a movie. You can accept it, make it for good, or you can accept it and make it bad. Right?
Like I say, that's a personal problem. That's a personal problem. That's your problem. Because I'm here to speak my truth, and I have to heal me. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I learned, you know, that helped me heal in certain situations, because you find yourself wondering and thinking about those things you went through, and the people that caused that trauma, they're not thinking about you. They're not losing no sleep. They sleeping like a baby, as a matter of fact. You're not even on their mind. You see what I'm saying? So why am I sitting here thinking about you, wondering about you, giving you space in my mind rent free? You know what I'm saying? And that's
they think about you and how they can make their next move. So some of them do think about you. Yeah. But they do. They will. They'll take over and think about you and make it about them, and they'll want you back as well.
I'm a movie buff. Have you guys seen Lord of War?
No.
Okay, so you need to watch Lord of War. So so first of all, I love like gangster, mafia, drug running, all that fucking type of movies because I don't know, I relate to it obviously, like, you know, but like it's just a way to relive part of my past without having to actively speak about it, right? And it's like healing for me in a way. It's always been incredibly fascinating to me. So Lord of War is with Nicolas Cage. It's about it's about him doing like illegal gun running. Okay, and there's a quote in there where he says, evil prevails when good men fail to act.
Yeah.
But it's true. So by me speaking my truth, by all of us speaking our truth, it's literally the way that makes it less comfortable for abusers to continue their abuse. Just by me speaking about it probably has my abusers fucking terrified. Oh, they're probably going to make up all types of lies about me. They're going to slander my name. They're going to say, oh, no, I never did this. She did this. They got a whole arsenal ready for me. But, honey, God is my fucking life jacket.
That's a fact.
And you know what? David versus Goliath, bitch. I might be smaller, but guess what? I'm not scared. And what's the worst that can happen? Oh, well, you slander my name. I know the fucking truth. And the people that matter know the fucking truth. People that know me. Like, you can hear it in my voice. I'm not fucking lying.
Yeah.
No, you've been through much. No, I could see the passion. You know what I mean? And I could tell, you know, that you've been through some things. You know what I mean? And in the comments, I don't know if you're seeing it, you're getting a lot of support for the coach from the culture game. And shouts out to y'all. For somebody that's watching, that sees your story and hear your story, and they can relate to it on so many levels. And they might be still in some of them storms that you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? They ain't quite found their way out of it. You know what I'm saying? What message would you tell them, or what direction would you give them to kind of try to get to where you are right now?
Okay, so first, obviously, practical advice, right? The practical, tangible advice I would give is write down 10 goals, break them into short term, medium term, long term, and start actively working on those things. Even if it seems fucking impossible, right? Like my goal, and I know it sounds corny, but when you're homeless, like, you know, and you have nothing, you know, like I wanted to get my teeth fixed. That was $52,000. I'm like, it's not even fucking possible. My manager was like, write it down. I was like, I want $100,000 in savings, but that's not possible. He's like, write it down. I'm like, I want features with Twista and this person and that person. Everybody almost I've already gotten, by the way, at this point. But 7 years ago, it was impossible. Yeah. Write it down. Write down your goals and write down the steps you need to take and actively work towards it every day. Every day. And if you make a mistake and you are like, okay, I haven't done this in a week. Oh, well, get back on the wagon. Stop fucking beating yourself up over it. Stop having a pity party. That's my next thing. Stop having a fucking pity party. Yes, it was wrong what they fucking did to you, but wallowing in your fucking self-pity only validates their fucking actions.
That's a fact.
And keeps you down. So, honey, raise the fuck up.
Yeah, and they keep winning when you do that every day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, write down your goals, make a plan, and stick to it. Write down your goals, make a plan, stick to it. You fall off, get fucking back on. That's my brother coming home. Anyway, sorry, let me close this door because I don't know why.
No, you're good.
Can you? Yeah, deal with that. Anyways, so, make your goals, make a plan, stick to it. Okay? So those 3 things for sure. Now, when it comes to like emotional, mental, all that stuff, you got to work on yourself. Like, rest in peace to my dad, my mentor, who I call my dad. That's who I call my dad. You know, rest in peace to him. But he told me, fill in your backspace. Fill in your backspace. Make sure you don't owe the IRS. Make sure all your credit is paid off. Get good credit. Start making investments. Get a 401k. You don't have to have a job to have a 401k. They lied to you. You don't. Get a fucking high growth yield account. Do your Roth IRA. Do your traditional IRAs. And people can say that's a bad investment. No, the fuck it's not. It's called diversifying your portfolio. Diversify your portfolio. Fill in your backspace. Get a savings. Make a space that is just yours to work on. I don't care if it's a tiny little space. Okay, for example, when I was homeless in Detroit and I had to make a choice between going with this pimp and learning how to sell crack. Guess what I did? Didn't go with the pimp because I knew that was a bad idea. I learned how to sell crack. Okay, but when I was in that trap house, living in that fucking trap house, I found this little dugout in the corner that was a tiny little desk that was built into the corner of the basement. And I used to literally curl up there and put a fucking coat over me so nobody knew where I was. That was my safe space. Create a safe space. And I know that doesn't sound very fucking safe, but guess what? It was way safer than the other shit that was going on.
Yeah.
I get it.
Anybody from, the hood, you can understand. You grew up in the hood, you fucking get it, you know? Like if there's a place you can hide, but you know, like now I even have my safe space. It's my home office. Like this is my domain. This is like my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I have my desk. I have my this, that, the other thing. I have my little motivational wall behind me. And that brings me to my other thing is heal yourself and nurture yourself and be fucking kind to yourself. It's okay to celebrate your victories. Okay. Like I wish I would have realized that years ago. If people think it's bragging when you're celebrating your victories, those aren't your fucking friends.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's your fucking enemy. Like, oh, why are you always bragging? Maybe you should up your fucking goals and actually accomplish something. You wouldn't fucking think I was bragging.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah, that's
period,
a fact.
boo. All right. So like if your friends are like constantly trying to like one up you and like not pay, you know what else my dad said? Pay real close attention to who doesn't clap when you win.
That's right.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And that passive aggressive, oh yeah, congratulations. That's not clapping.
No.
You need people on your side that are gonna be like, that's fucking awesome. I can't believe you did that, blah, blah, blah. And guess what?
I'm proud of you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because people were your friends a year ago doesn't mean they're your friends now. Leveling up changes a lot of things in your life, and you better be fucking prepared to change with it.
Yeah. Yeah. All the time.
But those are the things. Identify your goals, write them down, stick to your path, fill in your backspace, and heal yourself. Like, you got to heal yourself on the inside. I don't care how much money you have. Okay, when I was making my most money, I was my most fucking miserable. And that's the truth.
Wow.
I thought money was going to fix everything because I was so poor growing up. There was a point where I literally, one day I made $52,000 in one day. No bullshit. Cash in hand, $52,000. And you know what I realized that day? I didn't feel any fucking better about myself. And I was straight up fucking mad. And I was mad. I'm like, I'm supposed to feel good. Of course, there's that adrenaline rush. Like, yeah, I did that shit. And then after that, I was like, I kind of want to commit suicide. Like, you know, like it did not change. Yeah. I had to change what was
money
inside.
Don't equate happiness. Yeah.
No.
And of course, obviously, we need money to change shit, right? So people can be like, yeah, but you have $52,000 teeth in your mouth. You have a $30,000 car paid off. You have this, that, the other thing. You know what I'm saying? All this equipment, blah, blah. Yes, so I'm not saying money isn't important. It is. But you know what I realized on that day? I made $52,000 fucking dollars in one day. That's not everything.
No.
Thank God I was at the point where I was saving my money and I was sober. Thank God I, applied it to my back debts and things like that. And I paid off all my debts, like, so I wasn't to the point where I was that miserable, but bro, like you have to be, it's like my financial advisor. Yes, I have a financial advisor and I still advise others. It's okay. Everybody has a mentor, right?
Yeah.
But it's like my financial advisor said, money doesn't change anything. It just magnifies the problems you already fucking got.
More money, more problems.
Right. But, and that's true. At the same token, though, if you're bad with money and you get $1 million, you're going to be broke. Because you don't know how to spend your money.
That's true.
You don't know how to spend $10,000. You don't know how to spend $100,000. You surely don't know how to fucking spend $1 million.
That's
So
why,
work on yourself.
Financial advisor is a good idea right away.
Well, yeah, and then also you can teach yourself. If you can't afford a financial advisor, teach yourself. You know how many like free courses there are out there?
100%.
Get a mentor.
Yeah.
Like I mentor multiple women. Get a mentor.
That's right.
Just
Absolutely.
You don't have to listen 100% to your mentor all the fucking time, but trust me, you're gonna learn shit from that motherfucker that you're like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Or when you're stuck at a crossroads, you can call that person and be like, what should I do? That's why I got so lost, because all of my people that I called died back to back to back to back to back. Everybody died.
Oh man.
You know, so like be appreciative of the people that are around before you don't have them. Like be appreciative of the tools you have before you don't have them too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you never know. Like one day it's here, it's in front of you all the time. Then the next day it's like, they're gone completely. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Ray Shay said you got to learn how to hold on to your money. Yes, hold on to your money, but also don't be scared to spend it. Mm-hmm. Invest, meaning invest it.
Yeah.
Yes, you got to invest your money. Mm-hmm. Invest it. Just cash savings in a shoebox, like of course you want to have that because you need that quick liquid cash in case you need something, but you also got to invest your money.
Yeah, facts.
Shouts out to you for being you what I call a soul survivor. You know what I'm saying? You've been through so much, and you're not afraid to tell your story. You're not afraid to speak your truth. When we talk about personally and music, we wasn't able to get into the music because the story is so amazing. So we gonna definitely have to spin a block and have you come back and talk more about this and the music, among other things, because you are somebody that I really feel like the culture can learn from. You know what I mean? When you see somebody and it's like a reflection, like a mirror, you see yourself in it. That's more relatable than anything. So again, shouts out to you for coming through the platform, being so vulnerable, being so transparent. You know, speaking your truth, man. It's amazing, man. It's a drought on that in the culture. You know what I'm saying? And again, I know it's not easy, man. Come on, man. Say that. I know it wasn't easy, but you built for it. You know what I'm saying? I can see through the screen you built for it. You know what I'm saying? And God put you in this position to be right where you at right now, to be able to share your story to help others. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope on you. It's a blessing for trusting your discernment and following your calling. You know what I'm saying? So shouts out to you, man. Now look. Before we let you get up out of here, man, I want you to tell everybody where they can get in tune with you, how they can find your music, how they can go check out the video you got with Royce the 5'9", you got the video with Young Buck, you know what I'm saying? You got the joint with Benny the Butcher, you know what I'm saying? Spitting bars, killing the game, you know what I'm talking about? Let everybody know how they can get into all of that, and let us know a few things you got coming up, you know what I'm saying? Talk your shit.
So the easiest way to find me is just go to my website, thesexypsycho.com. Thesexypsycho.com has all my links on there, all of that. If you pull up your Instagram right now, it's j.irja. So J Irja is my name. The Sexy Psycho is my brand. So you can Google The Sexy Psycho and my website will pop up. All my stuff will be on there. I got a lot of stuff that's already in the vaults, ready to come out. A lot of stuff that just got released. I just filmed a video in front of Mom's Spaghetti, so that was dope. Eminem's Restaurant, we're about to release that. I have a dope ass track called Go Time we're about to be releasing. I've got a lot more like deep, soulful stuff, which is what a lot of people want to hear. We got that coming out. I've still got features that are unreleased with Project Pat is the one I'm really excited for. X-Rated. Cream Crooked, Lil Scrappy. So there's a lot of different things coming up that I'm super excited for. So tap in with me on social media. There's a bounce back challenge going on TikTok and Instagram right now for the next 30 days until April 1st. So for the next 30 days, the bounce back challenge is going on, which just go to TikTok and you'll see it. Go to my website. All the links are on there. All you have to do is use the bounce back sound on Instagram or TikTok, and you will be entered for a super dope prize that I'm not going to tell anybody what it is until they win. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's awesome. I've got a lot of stuff coming up, so just stay tuned in.
I want to win.
Oh, come on, man. That's super dope. Look, it's official. We definitely gonna have you back. You know what I'm saying? You working with my man Project Pat. Shouts out to the dog, Project Pat. You know what I'm saying? That's
Our
my
song
homie.
is so dope, too.
Man, look. I gotta check it out, man. I gotta join with Pat too. I actually toured around with him and Juicy. You know what I'm saying? That's the homie. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I cannot fucking wait.
We definitely gonna have to tap in, man. We're gonna bring you back on the platform again. And we're gonna continue to talk about your career, your elevation, and just your growth as an artist as well as a woman, man. It's super dope, man. We want to thank you for coming on our platform, talking to us, because we know time is something that you can't get back. So we appreciate you coming through and giving us some of yours, okay?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys, and thank you for letting me speak on your platform, and for sharing my story, and hopefully being able to touch somebody that needed to hear something that I said today. So
yeah, absolutely. Anytime,
man.
Anytime.
So look, again, we're gonna have you back. So just stay tuned, man. We're gonna have you back. We're gonna bring you back on, man, so we can dig into it, man. Cause you definitely got me curious about a little bit more. We ain't even scratched the surface. I already know. You know what I'm saying? So again, have yourself a good night, and we thank you for coming through. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much, you guys. You're the best. Love you. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye. Yo, that's what I'm talking about right there. Now look, when we talk about somebody not caring at all, willing to live, speak their truth, you know what I'm saying, and talk about everything, and that's one thing I like about our show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We talk about everything. You know what I mean? This is just not us interviewing music artists. This is just not us interviewing talking about music and so on and so forth, man. We talk about all aspects of the culture. We are here to make the cultures connect. And sometimes it's not pretty. Sometimes it's not, the world is not pretty. But what we are going to do, we're going to give it to you raw, clear, and uncut. You know what I mean? We not doing no filters. We giving it to you just how it comes. You know what I'm saying? And her speaking her truth. I know that wasn't easy. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me.
Not.
Come on, man. That wasn't easy for her to speak about that. And she did it with no hesitation, man. So shouts out to her.
That's right. I know it's one of those things where, you kind of have a story you want to come on and be able to talk about. I mean, we had every single plan to have her on, talk about her music and all her projects that were coming up. But sometimes, we have to give them their spaces here on the platform as well to be able to talk their truths, because that is something that is important, because that's truly who they are as well. And that does reflect in their music as well. So it is a part of the music scene. It really is. No one comes on with just straight happy story. There's no way. So the more you guys know about it, the more you will truly relate to who they are and be like, hey, I had an upbringing like that, or I dealt with that, or this or that. And, you guys can go and message them too and be able to be like, thank them for coming on our platform as well, because it's not easy. And if you guys have any questions for them as well, I'm sure they're happy to answer them as well. Just don't go and harass them. That's not what would you want you guys to do. Like, that's the least, but appreciate who they are and for them coming on, because it's not an easy story, especially when you're still healing through those situations, right? But
yeah, absolutely, man. I'm reading the comments. Shouts out to the Culture Gang. She has given us backgrounds to why her music is what it is. That's a fact. You know what I mean? Because her music definitely have layers, and you can see it in her personality and how she get down, man. She's a full 3D. You know what I'm saying? She give it to you clear and uncut. You know what I'm saying? And we like that energy. So again, shouts out to everybody that tapped in with us. You know what I mean? We definitely appreciate you. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you, man. Leave comments. Let us know how you feel about today's guest. If you have any questions that you want us to ask her, because we definitely going to have her back to tap in a little bit more about her music and other things that she got going on, because she got a lot going on, man. She out here working. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Again, man, we appreciate everybody for tapping in with us. Shouts out to Jess TV on SSH 101 TV. on Roku, man. Tap in with us on the NCG network in Italy. Shouts out to iHipHop TV, Underground Radio C. Of course, Address the Culture, Philly Jams 95.3, Jams 95.3, and Indy 101. Y'all already know we are tapped in. And we're going to be back next week. You know what I'm saying? With the same type of vibe, same type of energy, giving you news you can use. But you know, for one thing, we definitely going to be here to make the cultures connect. Right, Carrie?
That's right. You bet. Till next week.
I'm your boy, Big Wall.
And I'm your girl, Carrie.
And this is the Culture Connection. And like I always say, your culture makes you who you are. So make sure they respect it. We're going to catch you on the next episode. We up out of here.
All you gotta do is hush, you ain't gotta say much when you make that right connection. If you wanna double up, keep the money in the tuck, I can put you in the right direction. I can never get enough, all I got is us, I speak the true confessions. Everything goes smooth cause I stay on the move and make them right connections. All you gotta do is hush, you ain't gotta say much when you make them right connections. If you wanna double up, keep the money in the tuck, I can put you in the right direction. I can never get enough, all I got is us, I speak the true confession. Everything goes smooth cause I stay on the move and make them right connections.